Before quality control, we did what every other shop did, and that's just trust that the technician did their job. The problem with that is that, yeah, technician does his job, but sometimes they leave residuals behind that you don't want left behind. For instance, sometimes a tech forgets that he left a rag underneath the hood. Sometimes a tech accidentally leaves a tool in the passenger seat car. So we weren't doing any type of quality control other than what the industry does, and that's just trust the tech. And I love my techs, but they're people, and people make mistakes. Before text message updates, we followed the 10-12-2 rule, and that was kind of an industry standard. I'll probably get it wrong because my memory is fuzzy. Basically, the idea of the 10-12-2 rule was you're supposed to get your service advisors to get on the phone and call all your customers at 10, 12, and 2. And that just didn't happen. So what happens is when a shop gets busy, it becomes very reactive. And I'd always think there's got to be a better way than having somebody call in your shop and ask you what's going on. And it takes, you think about it, takes a second for you to answer it. Then basically what you do is you put the customer on hold for a couple seconds. Then you go find the status of the vehicle. Then you pick it back up. So the whole interaction of having to try and update a customer in real time or via phone or waiting for them to ask for an update via phone, it takes minutes, sometimes a massive distraction in something that you're doing. So to me, sending a text message update just allows you to be succinct with your messaging and just allows a customer to very quickly and easily understand what's going on with their car. I mean, why do I need to call you and tell you that your vehicle is ready for pickup? I'm going to send you a text and you're going to love that text. There's no conversation needed. So before texting, it was what we all try to do, and that's try to get in front of the communication with a phone call, but it typically didn't work. So we fell into the trap that every shop fell into, and that's being reactive with the customer calling in for an update. We used to, before digital vehicle inspection, we would print out a piece of paper and we had a couple items on there that we would look at over and over. We didn't have a 27-point inspection. I think we had 10 items on our inspection sheet. And those 10 items were basic, like items for maintenance type inspection items, air filter, checking the tires, checking the windshield wipers. What we didn't get to do was share pictures with customers. We didn't get to share videos with customers. We didn't get to share severity with customers. A lot of times our technicians would do the pencil whip. Since we only had 10 items, they would just basically make a line down the okay column or make a line down the wrong column. It just wasn't much put into it. And then it was hard to audit them. It was hard to make sure that we were getting the results we wanted. And then just the details, once again, getting to the customers never got related. One thing we sell a lot more, and we sell a lot more of everything now. The one thing it's an easy sell now is a picture of an air filter. It's just too easy to send a dirty air filter picture to a customer and explain to them that, hey, this is in your car. You don't have to tell them what an air filter does. They're going to want to change it because they have an air filter in their house and they know when that gets dirty, the air quality in their house goes down. And if you have allergies, then you want clean air filters. So I think things as simple as air filters are wonderful, but not just that. Now when you do, and you crack open an engine or a timing chain and it's off or teeth are missing on so like things that people don't understand, but just seeing the fact that there's worn metal or worn plastic, they don't have to know what that thing does, but just them seeing that, hey, these grooves or these cracks or these broken things are not right. And this is in my vehicle and I need to get this fixed. I think that power goes a long way in when a spouse comes home at night and they ask their significant other, what did we buy today with that $1,000 in auto repair? And that significant other can pull up their phone and look at whatever pictures, images, videos that we have, and they can say, this is what we bought. Increase that transparency, I think all shops want. Digital vehicle inspections have increased our repair orders by at least 25 to 50%. There's a great report that Autoflow has that's a sales report that shows the difference between DVIs sent and DVIs open, as well as how many images that people viewed on the inspections. And I can see this even to this day. It sometimes kills me when I look at the fact that we're sending inspections and people aren't opening them, and we're just not seeing the money left on the table that we could be seeing come through the door. So I'd easily say, yeah, inspections have increased our average repair order by 25, 50%. Now, I'll tell you, before we were using Autoflow and using digital inspections, I would say that the increase of ARO was 50 to 75% when we initially started using inspections, just because it created transparency. Once again, people knew what they were buying. They could see the pictures. At the time, the first inspection we used, it was only text and pictures, but that picture went a long way. And when they went home at night and their significant other asked what they bought, customer was able to pull up the pictures, and although they didn't know what they were looking at, they were able to show that their money was being spent on something, and that was fixing their vehicle. And so 25 to 50% is about what we see on our inspections right now on ARO increases. We track our repeat customers. And look, if you're just doing oil changes and state inspections, which in Texas, we just do, we have state inspections and which requires a customer to come in once a year. And oil changes is usually 3 to 4 times a year. But what we see with digital inspections a lot of times is not only do you get the oil change and state inspection, but then you'll see subsequent visits with those deferred items that you wrote up. So you'll see more than the 3 or 4 visits with the oil change. You'll see 5, 6, 7 visits because they're coming back for those things that you wrote up that they might not have taken care of at the time. So without question, we've seen a lot more visit and a lot more traffic just based off of the fact that we're letting you know what's going on with your vehicle. There's are things you should address, maybe not necessarily right now, but there are things that you need to be aware of. And as an auto repair shop, we always say we're like doctors. If you went to your doctor and you got a checkup and you had cancer, but your doctor failed to tell you that, and you died 2 weeks later, your significant other sure would be pissed off. So as an auto repair shop, we need to make sure that we're looking over the vehicles. We're suggesting to customers safety issues that need to be addressed. But then we're also showing them that, hey, here's some things that you should be mindful of to make sure your car's running in optimal conditions, which is what you want, and optimal safety conditions as well. So just having the ability to follow up, service reminders, rainy day, deferred items has seen a lot of return and repeat traffic in my shops. We did see an increase in approvals, an increase in approval time. It's great. We love the Autoflow feature where you can see when a customer's opened the inspection. Not only can you see when they've opened the inspection, you can see what images they looked at. You can see what sections they looked at, and you can see how much time they've spent in each one of those things, whether it's a video, whether it's an image, whether it's multiple images, whether it's the good section, the intermediate section, the bad section, or the good section. And I think that really helps us to understand what's the buying habit. What is the customer concerned about? What do they want to address? And if you have a good service advisor, which I know most shops do, it allows them to then focus on making sure the customer's educated with what we wrote up. And when you see that the customer's opened it, when you send a text message very shortly after that, after you have the estimate built, and you notice that they've opened the inspection, then you send that text message and say, hey, let's have a phone call. It's almost immediate that you get a return phone call when they're ready to have a discussion about what they should purchase for their vehicle to keep it in optimal running condition. And I think that's the other thing that, as a tech company, I think that Autoflow has done a good job of still understanding that there's a relationship piece with customers. My shops would rather a customer call and discuss with my service advisor what they need versus what they don't need versus allowing them to approve electronically. Even though we have electronic approvals, I still like that good old-fashioned conversation to let them know what we think is the priority and what we think they should do, because we still are the professionals. Photos and videos make a massive difference in a digital vehicle inspection and how a consumer consumes that inspection. So one of the nice things is one of the reports you can look at, a sales report in Autoflow, allows you to actually add images, as many as you want, or videos, and actually it filters out how many images you had or how many images were taken on these digital and vehicle inspections. So I can crank it up and see how many images. I can make my benchmark 5 images or more on the inspection and see what my ARO is. And I can tell you this, if we take 6 to 8 images on a digital inspection, we will see about $1,000 ARO. Now in my shop, we average around a $600 to $700 ARO. And what we require in my shop is about 3 images to 4 images per inspection. So yes, should we be requiring 6 to 8 images? Without a question. Once again, we leave money on the table. We know we leave money on the table. Do I get frustrated sometimes? Absolutely. But I think we got to understand that when you eat an elephant, you got to eat it one bite at a time. So instead of trying to get everybody to do everything all at once, you've got to put the frog in the water and then slowly turn up the heat. The piece of advice I'd give to owners rolling out digital vehicle inspections the first time is eat the elephant one bite at a time. Love that statement. I love the implication of that statement. I love the visual when I get it in my head. What does that mean to me? I think a lot of times when we want to make a change, we think that we need to go from 1 to 10 immediately. I think we forget there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in between 1 and 10. So my suggestion to new shop owners looking to venture into digital vehicle inspections is to take it one bite at a time. What does that mean? Start with a simple inspection. Start with 5, 10 items. Make sure it's done on every oil change. Make sure you take a technician and he has to do it on every inspection. Maybe you don't roll it out to everybody in the shop. Maybe you find your champion and that champion does it on every vehicle. And then what you need to make sure you do is celebrate the successes and wins when you see momentum. Remember, change is hard. So start small with your change, celebrate your wins, create your habits, and then continue to refine it. Continue to add on more, reframe it, add more questions on your digital inspection, add more people. Make sure eventually your goal is, and state your goal up front to everybody in the shop, eventually everybody's going to use this. This is going to be what we're going to do. But what I'm going to do is start at 1 and work my way to 10. And let's get everybody on board from 2 to 9. This is what I would tell a shop owner who's not texting or using digital vehicle inspections. I would say, you need to jump on board now and not get left behind. You hear it, you read it, you see other shops doing it. I understand there's some hesitation because you feel that it's more work that you're adding to your employees. And I'm going to tell you this. It's just like when you first got your phone, your first wireless phone, and you're like, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to, no way. And now you're attached to it all the time. Now you have a supercomputer in your pocket. You don't remember phone numbers anymore because you don't have to. You're so much more efficient with this supercomputer in your pocket, and it's actually allowed us to become that much more productive and efficient. And that's the same thing with digital tools. So I would suggest strongly to adopt them even out of your own, I don't want to do it. Join the crowd, because eventually it's going to be a requirement, just like everybody with a cell phone. And if you're the one guy who doesn't have the cell phone, amen. You're the one guy in the world who doesn't have a cell phone. Everybody else, they have cell phones. And we realize that it's a supercomputer in our pocket.